Hello, Tiffany, again. How are you?
Hello again. Doing great. How are you?
Good, good. So we are here to talk about what you're going to do with Cinema Journeys. So first off, I think we've introduced you to most of our people, but do you want to take a little bit of time and tell people, what you've done, what you're doing, and really what is who is Tiffany for those who have not met you before?
Sure. So I am from New York, born and raised, and I just really, about like 15 years ago, really started to get obsessed with classic film. Won a TCM contest, ended up doing a guest hosting thing with Robert Osborne with some other fans who also entered the contest. From there, I just really loved doing that. Ended up hosting at TCM for a couple of years. Also worked at Giphy for 10 years, curating film related content on the site, which was GIFs, stickers, like clips, all kinds of memes and stuff. But it was working with a lot of movie related content and archival type of stuff too, like Academy Awards, things like that. And also worked at Film at Lincoln Center and just, general writing, talking about movies. And I'm really happy to be doing some stuff on Cine Journeys. And first thing we'll be doing is a journey on Raul Julia.
Yeah. So Raul and Julia, interesting. Actually, so we are recording this on April 8th. And one thing with Senator is we try to not talk about politics unless it's in the context of the film. But Puerto Rico, you can't really extricate politics. So right now we are, and I apologize for bringing this in, but you can't help it. So the current administration, does not like Puerto Rico. Had said some things about Puerto Rico. Actually had thrown paper towels at Puerto Ricans. Remember that a couple years ago or a few years ago?
Yeah, I've tried to
And
forget,
then,
but
yeah, sorry,
no,
again.
it's fine.
And then last year there was the convention. Some comments were made, and now so there's a new economic policy, and I've heard, and then there's this thing called the Jones Act. I've heard that Puerto Rico is about to suffer greatly under this administration unless some things are done. So I hate that this is coming back in the news. This country. But I think a large benefit of you covering Raul Julia is how much pride he had in his country, in his homeland. And and do you want to talk about that a little bit? Again, politicize if you want, but I think it's somewhat relevant. But of course, it's
Well,
your rodeo.
I think it's really hard to have ties to any occupied territory, colonized place without it getting political to some extent. I would agree. Like anyone who's Hawaiian is like constantly, it's just it's a very tied to thing. Even yesterday, there was the one of the NPR tiny desks, and it was Bad Bunnies, and he mentioned it too because you just cannot have ties to a place like Puerto Rico and not at some point get into the history of it.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, honestly, because a lot of people just don't even know. So a lot of people don't quite know what its status is. It's often just referred to as a territory when it's like it's straight up a colony. Like, let's just call it what it is. But anyway, I say that
Hmm.
to say that anyone who really comes from there is an overwhelming sense of pride. And you won't only find that in Bad Bunny. You won't only find it in any other Puerto Rican celebrity you can think of. You will find it also in Raul Julia and Rita Moreno. I mean, like
Right,
it's
right.
just like a very
Greats.
vibrant, big source of pride. A lot of reasons why. There are a lot of reasons why, and I don't. I'm not going to get into all of them, but I can in in the journey, and
Sure, yeah.
it's just I just basically wanted to talk about some really beautiful things that come out of Puerto Rico, and people who are just like deeply tied to the land. And Raul Julia is one of those people, just like a really undersung actor, even
Mm.
though anyone who talks about his work is like, no, this person was incredibly talented, like should be up there on like a greatest of
Hmm.
type of list, whether it's
Mount Rushmore, yeah, kind of,
yeah, uh, their first credited film role is in Panic in Needle Park with Al Pacino,
right?
did stage work with James Earl Jones, did One from the Heart, Francis Ford Coppola picture, did worked with Sidney Poitier, Faye Dunaway, like nominated for 4 Tonys, just a really just huge presence in TV, film, and especially stage. And so I just think that he is such an interesting figure to talk about because he's done all this interesting work, but is really often known for playing Gomez Adams and taking a role that already very much existed, had a success of its own on TV with John Aston originating the role that then came from comics. But when you think of Gomez Adams now, you think of Raul Julia. Like there's just
Yeah.
really no way around it. The way that he brought everything to this role that could have been pretty caricature-esque. It could have been very like stereotypical Latin lover type of performance, but
Hmm.
I think that this is a culmination of a lot of his work in a lot of ways. You see him do Shakespeare in Shakespeare in the Park clips, which are readily available online. I am going to reference the run that he did of Taming of the Shrew with Meryl Streep in the late 70s. And you see that work, and you see things like there's clips where he talks about Errol Flynn as a huge influence in his life. He loved to do like swashbuckling type roles. And all of that comes to play in Gomez. It all comes to play in Adam's Family, and he has so much fun with it, and he's so good at it. And a lot of these talents come out through a lot of his roles. And so he's so entertaining to watch, and I just really love talking about him. So
Yeah, so
that's what it
anybody
is.
watching on video can see I'm sharing my screen, and I have the details page, and just that image with the knife in the mouth. He had amazing actor, and I've seen him in a lot of dramatic performances, and of course you mentioned his theater, and I'm sure you'll get into, as you mentioned, you'll get into that in the journey. But yeah, he has this zest and this energy. So like the face that he's making in this image is just a joyful expression, and but it is a great performance too, even though it's an amazing mainstream film. He's a fun actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait. So it's worth pointing out that is part. If you subscribe to your guide channel,
Hmm.
well, it's not called guide channel. We kind of did the Facebook. That's like the Facebook. Remove the we removed the, so it's just channels. But people that subscribe to your channel will get access to that. So let me
Hmm.
go to your channel as well. And while I'm doing that, do you want to talk about other topics you're going to cover?
Yeah, I think
Or,
that some of the things that interest me most and things I'd want to explore are a lot of New York type movies, whether specifically I really like adolescence, like growing up in New York City. It's such a unique
mm,
experience, and it's something I really loved. And some of the movies that I love most are teens in New York, and often there's like a Romeo Juliet aspect to them. So whether it's Gordon Parks Jr.'s Aaron Loves Angela, whether it's Abel Ferrara's China Girl, whether it's even West Side Story, there's just like it's just like something about being young and running around the city, and I just I just love it. So I would love to explore something around that. And we have talked about gifts a lot and movie related gifts, and I'm gonna figure out how exactly to dive into it. But there is something interesting in, whether you are gifts often fall into like I feel like two extreme camps. I feel like there are people who just use them all the time, and then there are others who just think that they're like passe and done. And
right,
I that's
right.
fine. I respect I respect both. I do think for people who use them, there is an interesting conversation there because you know it's fun because let's say I do use a gif of Raul Julia in the Adams Family,
Mhm.
and he's catching the knife in his mouth. You can share that, and it presents this emotion of like, what even is the emotion? It's like fun, it's entertaining, it's you don't really know what you're saying with that, but then you are also taking it out of context of the movie. And that happens a lot. You can share like a really happy moment from a probably maybe very sad film. And so it creates this interesting conversation where maybe a GIF can draw someone to a movie because they're like, oh, that looks cool. But maybe will give false pretense to what a movie really is. There are lots of things about that. Is like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is it neither? Is it just interesting?
Mhm.
And so I'm just pretty interested in that and how we use this form of language and if there are like responsibilities around it. It's kind of a very internety conversation to have anyway.
Very much,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we've had conversations in our Discord with just gifts
Mhm.
back and forth, and
Right.
probably some of those you made. So,
Yeah.
and I'm sharing again, and this is a placeholder that I made. I know you're still figuring out, how to
Mhm.
approach this material. So this is my placeholder. I called it the heart of the gift. So I don't know if
Right.
you will. And I use the Jeremiah Johnson
Right.
famous gift, but that's a
Which that's
great
like a
example.
all class famous movie gif that not that I did not make that one, gotta say.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, I was looking for a GIF. I can't put a GIF as the header image on the website, just the
Yeah.
website. But that's the one still image that, like, you see
Anybody
it
would
and you get
recognize.
everybody would recognize. It's one of those
Totally.
iconic GIFs. So here's some videos. So yeah, I know you have a ton of videos over on YouTube
Mhm.
that you'll be sharing. And in fact, it's way too much for me to, but people can just watch it in there. So that there's your
Mhm.
TCM, and you have a ton of TCM videos. Here's your bio,
Mhm.
TCM, and then as you'll be writing posts, so here I'll change that tag, but we have the Bad Bunny article you wrote. Of course,
Mhm.
this is a podcast that you did with myself. I was actually I had hearing problems that day, so yeah, it did not make it to air, we'll say, but so it's a little tidbit that you get. It's right here too, but with Jill as well. And I know you'll do a lot more of this too. So yeah, anybody who is subscribed to this channel, and by the way, I chose a login that is already subscribed. So I automatically went and got logged in. But here's the page. Hello, I love that one. You made this. Well, obviously you made this, but is this a new GIF or is this when
No,
you were
it's
working at?
I would say, so it's a GIF, if anyone's just listening, it's a GIF of me and my dog Mango waving at the camera and just a text that says hello on the bottom. It must have been just a little while after I adopted Mango, so I'm thinking it's somewhere in the year 2020.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it's a very, very adorable GIF. So yeah, and you'll see it if you're not watching video. If you just go to Cinema Journeys and click on details on your channel, you'll see this right above the registration page. So it's $5 a month. So like we say, it's a cup of coffee. I guess
Mhm.
in New York, it's 2 cup of coffees, I think, or I'm sorry, it's
Depending, yeah, yeah,
half a
yeah,
cup
it's
of
half.
coffee. And then yearly $50, so you save a little bit. I will share. I guess I shouldn't put my address on there, but okay. It's there anyway. But I should share that you're already in good company. We already have some subscribers, and you're just starting. So this is going to be a journey for you as well. And
Mhm.
yeah, I would recommend people get on it. I look forward to your call on the 29th of April.
Yes.
At the end of the month on Raul Julia, again, free for people that subscribe, and then more to come. So, including the Romeo and Juliet, New York,
Mhm.
and the GIF. Uh, Depending on how the gift looks like, you might give a coupon. The online classes are more of a premium, so we'll see how
Right.
that looks. That's up to you, but people that subscribe, the coupon would be on that page that we just saw. So, well, yeah, look forward to what you bring. So everybody register, check out, celebrate Raul and Tiffany, and yeah, follow Cinema Journeys for more.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.